Hey, David Bridge Jr., welcome to my channel. And I'm going to give you a little bit of the backstory of why I'm creating this. So one of the things that I've realized over the last, actually just a couple of weeks, is that the success that you're going to get isn't going to come from one and done activities. And we know that in certain areas in our life, but in other areas we need slapped upside the head, I guess you could say, because well, there are certain indicators. For example, getting ahead of myself. So one of the things that we'll see on TV is the finished product, right? We don't see the hours and the tons of failures and experiments. You know, I'm one of those guys that I'm very cognizant and aware of how I speak and the terms and words that I use to describe my feelings and actions and perspective. And so, to go back to my example about what we see on television and giving us a false sense of what things require to produce a finished product, one of the things that I can relate to is I was a background extra. I don't want to say I was an actor, but I was a background extra in one of the episodes in Mindhunter Season 2, which is a series on Netflix. And it took us a long time, let's just put it that way. So I got to participate in a couple different segments of the show, and I was there for 2 days. The first day was in, I think, September of 2018, and then a month later in October. And each time they would shoot the same segment of a piece of film over and over and over and over and over again to produce a final product on television that was a couple of seconds. To give you an example, the one scene in particular is maybe 2 minutes long, where it's Holt McCallany, whose character is Bill Finch, is talking about one of the serial killers, Charles Manson, and describing his interaction not only with Manson but also a couple other ones to the new FBI director. Like I said, the scene maybe lasted 2 minutes. It didn't measure it, but it took all day to film. All day. I'm not kidding. Whenever I say it took all day, it took a good 12 hours plus to film the episode. And what they would do is they would film each angle like a close-up. You see the guys doing this? This is pretty, I mean, it's kind of what they would do, the rule of thirds, right? But they would film the entire scene from one angle, a close-up on Bill Tench's face. They would film it over and over and over and over, 6, 8, 10 times. And then they would switch the camera, or cameras, and they would do a close-up on the guy that he was interacting with. And they would do that 6, 8, 10 times over and over and over and over and over again. and then they would switch out the guys, and they would walk around, and then they would have everybody who was sitting at the particular table get up, and then they would film it from the other end, and they would film it over and over, and have the interaction between Holt McCallany and the camera, as though the guy is actually sitting behind the camera, or he's looking at the other character that he's interacting with, but meanwhile the character is actually not even there, but they're just reciting the line. And they would do it over and over and over and over and over again. And then they would switch the angle again and do it over and over and over and over again. This is how I drive. And so, in order to get it right, they would take all of that footage and then splice it to make the finished product. And what you don't see is the 12, 14 hours that it took to take the 2 minutes of the show. And so my point being, a lot of times in what we're doing online, we expect some relatively instant success. And it's going to take constant, repeated effort and trials to get the finished product, get the thing that we want to work. And the cool thing about it is, until you come to that realization, it's likely that you're just going to quit and think, it's not for me, or it doesn't work, or it's a bunch of bunk. But in reality, it's finding the stuff that works. There's a couple other examples that I can give you. But in starting on this, I've been in that spot where I've given stuff a shot, trying to think, all right, well, I can't figure that one out. I've spent enough money on those ads. That isn't going to work. I must be missing something. And trying to sell a particular service or product or whatever, and just not quite finding the voice, not quite finding, as Russell Brunson would say, the hook to get people to pay attention and or to just have an audience. And I've done a lot of that myself, just giving up. Not totally giving up, but abandoning a particular aspect of what it is that I was trying to do. Whereas maybe if I would have just kept going, the 3 feet from gold story, the acres of diamonds, there's a diamonds or gold, whichever, where the guy is digging for gold and just stops 3 feet short or whatever. Whereas if you just muscle through it, keep going, forging on, and believing in what it is that you're doing, you might get to that point where you actually see some results. So here's the thing about what I'm sharing here is that what I want you to do is have a look at the group that I'm putting together to help you get through and implement some of the things that you're trying to do for your business, being a virtual entrepreneur, an online entrepreneur, or even if maybe you've got a brick and mortar business and you want to do some things in the online marketing space. I would encourage you to not give up, because there is strategies and tactics that will and do work for you. It's just a question and a matter of hanging in there and finding and having the result to find the ones that work. And if we don't have the what's the word I'm looking for? The reason, the fire, the urgency. That's a good word. That's what I'm trying to. I think I'm trying to find the urgency, the need to have some of this stuff working instead of banging your head on the wall from old school tactics for whatever it is that you're trying to market or sell or advertise or whatever. There's usually a better way, and especially with today's technology and the artificial intelligence that's available to take advantage of attracting our perfect customers. We can give up. And so one of the things that I want to mention is that with me in my situation personally, as I drive right now, things are certainly urgent for me personally. Stuff has to work right now, So I've been diligently and excruciatingly, not excruciating. It's not excruciating in the least, but it's uh, focused and determination, effort to get the things that I need to work for my business. And because candidly, I mean, I've exhausted all of the resources that I have, and I'm down to the wire where some things have to produce results. Um, and some of the things I've tried, so some of the things I've tried in the past, um, I don't want to say that I've given up, but I've abandoned because they have not produced the desired results. They've produced a result, but not the desired result that I've needed to in the past to give any kind of confidence to continue on that they would work. Um, it's it's like uh, how do I want to relate this? It's like um, I don't know, bowling. Let's give bowling a shot. Never been particularly good or interested in bowling. It's kind of like fun. Just chuck the ball down the alley, and you know, maybe you knock a couple pins over or whatever. But some guys have figured it out. You just you, you what you swing your arm and drop it or whatever, and it naturally rotates. I don't know. It's bowling. uh, haven't had enough interest in it to want to try and figure it out. Whereas golf, on the other hand, uh, there's certain aspects of that game that I've acquired skills and can and it can at times feel pretty confident about uh, to be able to put a decent score together. Now I haven't played this past summer worth anything, maybe 25 holes or something like that, if that, because I've just been uh, stuff's on the line because I couldn't afford the time to go and spend 4 or 5 hours, going to the course and then recovering from that time after the fact. So, uh, but golf is one of the things that uh, maybe on your own you go to the range and you can't quite figure things out. You're slicing it, or you're duck hooking it, or you're duffing it, and things like that. But one of the things that two things that drastically improved my game. One is having friends that I played with, that I competed with, not knocked down, bloody, dragged out competition, but we would play for money. Stuff was on the line, and they would hold you accountable to, not do-overs. The rules of golf, in essence, right? And so at the end of, several rounds in the beginning, and having to pay, and having tried to get good, but still having to pay, but trying to figure things out on my own. I'm going to go to the range. I'm going to go and do what I need to do and hit a bunch of balls. Well, hitting a bunch of balls on your own and not having any kind of uh, idea what works, it's futile. I mean, maybe you're going to be follow watching and be able to figure it out. But for me, having that incentive to try and figure out, because I wanted to play, I enjoyed the game, and I liked my friends, and I wanted to hang out. It was a good time, a lot of laughs, and very enjoyable. Uh, but no matter how much I was going to go to the range and try and figure stuff out on my own, uh, because of my friends and having to pay them, that's number one. It wasn't going to happen. So what I did was I figured out, all right, I need some help. Need some help. I got to figure this stuff out somehow. Uh, so I'm going to call Jack, who's my friend and coach, and he would spend an hour And right away, he spotted a couple tips, and then one tip in particular that drastically improved my game right off the bat. Just one little thing, drastically. And that was mind-boggling how he could spot that where I would have, but I would have had no idea, uh, none, as far as what was causing certain uh, troubles with my swing. And so my point being, number one, the fact that you need a reason and some constraints to put uh, you into a situation where things need to work. And number two, having a different set of eyeballs, a coach who's been and can relate things that work. And so, in saying all this, I'm kind of getting to the point where, number one, I've got this members coaching area where I can share some of my mishaps and successes, minor successes to this point, because I'm candidly and sharing my journey with you in online success, online marketing, being able to try and figure out what's going to work for me, and hopefully, doing that, you can take some things away for yourself. And then number two, give yourself some, in addition to the coaching, constraints where you can take advantage of a program that's out there called the One Funnel Away Challenge. And in 30 days, it's going to give you a framework and units of instruction that you can put in place. And if you follow them and you do the work, we'll have some kind of result. I'm about halfway through it right now, but I'll tell you this, it's given me, kind of like Jack, what I think is going to be, I haven't put them to the test yet. It's a matter of implementing and executing, right? So that's another one. But has given me the confidence and the perspective of some things that I think, kind of like the one initial tip that Jack gave me, that are going to produce some measurable results. So, with that said, uh, I think what I'm going to do is invite you to uh, my Facebook group and the members area that I've created. It's free. Uh, take advantage of it and sign up and go in and have a look at some of the things I've put together. And as I compile and produce some of the content, I'm just going to put more and more in there for your benefit and for mine, because for reasons to be explained later. But a lot of it is reciprocity. There's a book that's called Influence that was written by Arizona State psychology professor that came up with 6 factors of influence, and reciprocity is one of them, which garners a lot of influence. So if you haven't had the chance to take a look at that book, probably a 6, 7, 8-minute video on YouTube that breaks it down and gives you the essence of it. And so, have a look at the members area, join the Facebook group. I'll send you a bunch of useful content and tips and tricks, and look forward to interacting with you further. So, hey, listen, I'm David Bridge Jr. I'm going to sign off for now. Focus on the road and my drive here. So, until next time.